we want to pour into our community, but we have to give them sustainable lessons. Sustainable lessons are not plays. That's quick money. We're not doing hustles. We should be beyond hustles. We're creating a legacy not only for our families, but
it's another episode of Entrepreneurship Exposed with your guy Beez, where not only do we challenge everything, but we are focused on the different strategies of being an entrepreneur, the different business models that you can get into, but we giving you the real sauce, the real information, the pros, the opportunities, and the problems more so than anything else. And today's conversation is going to be my favorite conversation. And I know I say that a lot. I say that for almost every episode. I'm like, oh, I was looking forward to this one. But this one I'm really looking forward to because it's my topic, right? And I had to bring on somebody who I respect, someone who is crushing it in many, many ways, someone who, she's just amazing. And not only she's part of my community, she's helping me to build a community as well. And I'll stop there. I'll let her introduce herself. MamaBea, Qweenbea. I'm not going to say your government name. I don't know if you allow me to, but it's up there anyway. How are you today? And welcome to the podcast.
Oh my goodness. I am awesome and excited, but you have to change that tagline. This is not your favorite topic. This is our favorite topic.
Hey. Yes, 100%. This is our favorite topic.
Yes.
I believe that anyone that comes and learns this information and actually does put the effort into, immersing themselves in the industry and really understanding what's going on, it will also become their favorite topic.
There's no way it couldn't be. When you really understand. Now, I'm not even going to say understand. When you comprehend the opportunities and potential in this situation, there's no way it couldn't be your everyday topic.
There we go. Exactly. Well, first of all, hold up. I see some people in the chat. I saw a bunch. They going crazy already. It's because you're here, Qweenbea.
Let's go. Community.
Let's go. And wait a minute, Kel's Closet. Is that Kel?
That's our Kel's from Dubai. Yes, it is.
Really? Oh, Kel, what's good? I miss y'all too. I'm wondering where y'all been, man. Rel don't never text me back or nothing anymore. Y'all traveling the world. But we'll save that for another conversation.
Wait. Let me tell you why they don't call you back. Because again, they are a part of our community, but they also a part of my training community. And Kels and Renelle is killing it.
There we go. I love it. You see, hey, you know what's amazing? I say that there's 3 ways of creating wealth.
Yes.
Real estate. I don't talk enough about real estate, but I definitely talk about it, right? Because it's extremely important. I don't claim to be a guru in real estate. I just know little things, and I do enough to at least include it in my portfolio.
Correct.
Financial markets. You got to be in it in one way or another. I do got stock. I do have index funds. I used to trade for Forex and wasn't that successful with it years ago. Then I met Qweenbea and she blew my mind, and I'm getting back into it now.
Yes,
right? But you also got to even include crypto, anything in the financial markets.
Any asset, and all assets.
And then third is that owning a business, whether you buy it or you build it. This is probably, and we don't build anymore. We only buy nowadays. But whether you do one or the other, it is. And you know what? You build after you buy it.
You build after you buy it, but we will buy it first. Absolutely.
There's someone that said, I don't remember where it was. It might have been on IG or something. And they said that, all right, guys, before we get into the full episode of Entrepreneurship Exposed, I just want to take a moment to thank you all for supporting this channel. This channel means so much to me. You all mean so much to me because this information is the type of things that I wish that I knew when I was like 17 years old, right? We're talking about wealth creation strategies, not plays. Never talking about, hey, we could run this quick play to make some quick money. This is all about sustainable strategies that won't go anywhere. whatever else you may be doing, this information will supplement it and help you take it to a whole nother level. So what I would love to ask each and every one of you is if you could like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, do all of that for me. It supports the channel, it helps us to grow, helps us to get this information out to more people so that we could change more lives. So thank you again for supporting. Make sure that whatever you see in here, whatever you learn in here, that you go and I'd rather, he said he would rather like work hard for something and build it and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I believe that that is a misconception that our community has, right? I gave an example a few months ago where I asked a few people, would you rather earn $50 million or me give you $200 million? And there was quite a few people who was like, yeah, I just want to earn it. Then nobody can say they gave it to me and blah, 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 blah. I respect you. I understand that. But how about I give you the 200, then you could earn a billion, a trillion. Right? Why would you turn down free money?
Yeah.
OPM.
Of pride. False pride.
False sense of pride.
False sense of pride is notorious in our community, and you got to understand where it comes from. It comes from cultural building of you got to have your own systematic racism, you got to have your own. But that was embedded in our brain. We have to understand that opportunity comes in a multitude of facets. Think larger. If you give me $250 million, I'm going to turn that into $1 trillion. Then I'm going to come back and say, thank you for opening my eyes to opportunity. And that's what I feel about buying businesses. You're opening up our community eyes to, wait a minute, I don't have to sacrifice, because that's what a lot of us do. Yep. We sacrifice. We quit our careers to be an employee of our business, and our standard of living drops. Because you're sacrificing so much to build this business. You're putting everything in it. And honestly, Beez, I looked at a lot of businesses where their employees of their business are not even earning a third of what they were earning when they were working. For the first 2 to 5 years.
Yeah. And when you look at the statistic that we know,
right?
Less than 20% of businesses are still around after 5 years, right? So they start and they're gone. 80% of them are gone in 5 years. Right. And then less than 5% ever make it to 7 figures. I couldn't believe that statistic when I heard it. I had to look it up and be like, are you sure?
Look, I go to the census report because I was like, wait a minute. All these people right around talking about they business owners, but are they? Or are they employees of their business?
Okay. We got to stop there because, you and I are just getting right into conversation, but I forgot. You have to introduce yourself. You have to tell a few people who don't know who you are. Tell them who you are. Just give us some background on everything that you do.
Absolutely. So my name is Beatrix Davis. I have 3 taglines.
You said her government name.
I did because I'm on your podcast. So. And it's on the screen, so
it's on the screen.
I am also known as the Qweenbea, MamaBea, and the Money Lady. I've been an entrepreneur. I used to say serial entrepreneur until I met Beez, but I've been an entrepreneur since 2004. We build our foundation off of the transportation industry. I have a business in taxes. I do real estate. I'm a business consultant and business financing. And I'm a everyday trader. Plus I teach trading. Kinda. I have. Kinda. I'm a mom, a wife. I've been with my husband 30 years. We've been together so long we look alike. I have 2 children in college. And I'm located in San Antonio, Texas. I'm also a motivational, I used to say motivational speaker, but now I think I want to call myself a prosperity coach because I think we need to feed our community the opportunities of where prosperity starts in the mindset.
For sure. For sure. I love that. And you got to end off your introduction with, and I
buy businesses.
There you go. You see? Don't worry, your shirt's coming too, MamaBea. I'm going to get you all decked out, dripped out. Well, yes, MamaBea buys businesses.
Absolutely.
So, and how did you, because yes, I love you that you let everybody know that I simplified it for you and like made that light bulb go off, but it's not like you didn't know about acquisitions prior to that. It's just maybe not the LBO model and the simplified version of it and that type of thing. So how'd you even come across that prior? Because most people in our community, especially, they come nowhere near close to it, right? So how did you even get into learning about M&A, when you first started?
The crazy thing, Beez, is I have a very diverse background in a multitude of industries. When I worked for corporate America, I worked in healthcare, I worked in construction, I worked in real estate, banking, and financing. So I witnessed a lot of mergers and acquisitions. And I've always been the type of person where if they could do it on the corporate level, I know there's a way that I can do it on my level. So when I transitioned from being an employee to being a business owner, I started seeking that. Like my husband and I attempted to buy our first trucking company almost 15 years ago. And it was so complicated. They were asking for all this credit. They wanted $1 million in financing available. They wanted our network to be this, that, the other. And as I started networking, and I love the fact that you always tell your community that networking is a pillar in your growth. When I started networking, I know a lot of these people that I met that didn't look like me, didn't have all of that, and they was buying businesses. So I started dipping into different organizations, and I ended up purchasing an investment banking program 15 years ago for 10 grand. Now, 10 grand. 10 grand. The program is phenomenal. However, you got to think about it. 15 years ago, my boys were still very active in sports. I'm a wife. I'm currently running a business. I didn't have the luxury of time to go back to school full time. And that's what it took to understand that concept. And then last year, when you brought it to the table in our community, I was like, whoa, wait. Give it to me. And it's so crazy because now I go back and I watch this stuff and it makes so much sense, so much faster. So I know in our community, I always say I have a very A-type personality. I just took off. I just ran with it.
I saw that. I know that. Like you was running with it where I couldn't even like give you the baton because you was like, I was like, slow down. But I love that. People have to recognize. I think that our community's unfortunately gotten jaded by certain programs. People are teaching plays, right? People is like, oh, well, this is the play you could run and you can make some quick cash.
Right.
I quite some time ago, realized that there's no such thing as quick cash, right? Not the way that I want, because I don't just want just quick cash. I want to create wealth. I don't want to, and I'm still at the point where I still worry like everything could crash, right? Yes, I diversified, but I need to do something more. I still worry about my livelihood, my family's livelihood. You know what I mean? Right. I may not worry about small things like, the most liberating feeling for me was two things. Once I started making money was one, when the phone rang, I'd be like, who this? Because in the past, it was ringing. I'm like, oh, who's that?
I was after that phone call.
Now, also when I'm at a restaurant and like they put the bill, I'm still talking. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, here. And I don't even look at the bill. I'm not saying that's a good thing because I still should make sure that they not.
I don't like that part.
But that became somewhat liberating for me over time, right? It was like, okay, I achieved certain things, but no matter what, I still have to continue to grow. I still want to continue. That's why my pillars, the 4 pillars, but I added that foundation and the roof. and that roof of always seeking knowledge, that's critical, right? Because
see, I love the fact that you no longer use the word plays, because we want to pour into our community, but we have to give them sustainable lessons. Sustainable lessons are not plays. That's quick money. We're not doing hustles. We should be beyond hustles. We're creating a legacy not only for our families, but other families when you share the information, right? So when you're giving people plays, that's not a scalable business. You're not teaching them true business acumen. And that's where people get confused. They think because they own some of these plays that they actually have business acumen, and they don't. And then they realize it, and now the community is tainted by taking information, especially new information, from people who look like us, because the first thing you think, oh, it's a scam, it's a game. And that's not what we're doing.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing is why we don't push sales of it. Like, hey, you got to get in, you got to get in. We just tell them, listen, you need to be buying businesses. That's all, right? Whether you want to learn it simplified with us, or you want to go figure out somewhere other way, or you want to join somebody else's community, whatever you want to do, our community needs to buy businesses. It is the ultimate strategy for creating wealth. Right? And sustainable strategy.
And it's sustainable strategies. And if I can just veer a little bit into leverage buyouts, I want people to really understand what we mean when we say buy businesses, as opposed to creating a business, right? If I create a business, like I said, I'm going to sacrifice some things to start it. It may be sleep because I have to work in it. It may be the quality of life because I may have to downsize or live with someone. It may be my healthcare insurance, right? But the biggest thing that we could give our community, especially in this podcast today, when you buy a business, you're buying an existing cash flow, workforce, model, credit, sustainability, and scalability.
Yes, 100%. And I want to clarify something for some people that have asked this question, because there was one question that came up where somebody was like, oh, well, the credit doesn't transfer, blah, 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 when you acquire the business. And I said, listen, that depends on what you're talking about, depends on which institution you're going to. I'm not saying that a personally guaranteed loan will transfer. That's not credit I'm talking about. That's transferring. I'm talking about your ability to obtain credit in the business name. That's transferred because the business still has that number of years. The business still has X amount of cash flow. And if you follow our strategies, that we go after things that are in the 1, 2, 3 million or more. Million mark is corporate credit. You don't got the PG for nothing, right? So it's about the specific strategy, because there's multiple strategies when it comes to mergers and acquisitions. And it is. And then that leads us into the main topic of today, because the strategy that we use with mergers and acquisitions is LBOs, leverage buyouts. Right? So, and I'm saying that to say, I have some people who, they still come to me and be like, hey, I found this business for sale. It's really cheap though. I think it's a good entry one for me. And I say, I understand why you say that. And I understand that if it's lower in, acquisition price, that you feel that's a good entry one to get your feet wet. But if the strategy I'm teaching is an LBO, you need enough revenue in that business to pay for you to acquire it. And getting one that's super small may not cover that, right? So we want to make sure any acquisition we're doing is going to pay us something and have enough money to pay for the acquisition itself, so it's not coming out of our pocket.
Yes.
Right?
And here's the thing, it's the fear.
Fear.
Our community is always afraid. It's the fear. I don't want to jump out there so fast or so large that I drown. It's the fear. But you have to be realistic. Like that, I've had one person come to me and say, well, it's a distressed business. Well, I said, well, why do you want to start with a distressed business? Are you buying a business to buy yourself a job? Think about that. You have to move yourself from, I always say, from the passenger seat, the back seat, to into the driver's seat. You right? Yep. So you have to understand that what's the worst case scenario? What's the worst case scenario?
Good question.
Well, what is the worst case scenario that can happen?
So we're gonna talk about that right now.
Okay.
First of all, shout out to Ty. I see you up in there, bro. It was good. Hey, I see everybody popping. I'm telling you, everybody came out because you on today, Qweenbea.
I love you. Those are my babies.
For sure. So we're gonna jump immediately right now into popping the LBOs, right? So we do that on here where we talk about the pros, opportunities, and problems. So we're gonna pop leverage buyouts right now. And when it comes to, I'm going to jump ahead to the problems, right?
Let's do that.
Let's do that first before we do the pros and the opportunities. Let's jump to the problems. A lot of people ask me that because not only do I have the BBI where we're teaching people how to do this,
right,
but I also have Capital Beez where it's a consultation program called the $1 Trillion Club, and we do it for people.
Correct.
So one of the questions that always comes up is, what's the worst that can happen? And I said, well, I don't know, maybe a pandemic comes and everybody shuts down and then your business is going to suffer. But guess what? That happened with the business you was building too.
Come on, Beez.
It's not different. You know what I'm saying? The same worst that can happen in building a business is the same worst that can happen in buying a business, right? The only time you have something slightly different is there's two parts of M&A, mergers and acquisitions. We focus on acquisitions primarily. Mergers is where you have more potential risk, not more risk than building the business, but
not
more
risk than building the business
alone.
Exactly.
Because you're bringing two teams together, there could be, oh my God, am I going to get fired? And what's going to happen here? And trying to get that synergy with the two teams. That's where some people make mistakes and there's, issues with that. But the acquisitions, you good.
However, culture clash, right? You can have culture clash in your own business.
Yep.
You start out, everybody starts out with the go-getters and excited, and they're all on your team and they love you, right? And then times get difficult when people start to fall off, right? So then you got to bring in some more people, right? Okay, you have some people still there. It's a culture clash. You're not going to experience anything different in buying a business that you won't experience in building a business. You're just not. The thing of it is, the one thing that I would say is, if you don't learn to comprehend the information and make sure that your due diligence is on top, there's nothing to be afraid of, because it's the same thing. If you decide today you're going to open up a car lot on your own, you got to build it.
Yep, for sure.
So, but it's a shortcut, right? Don't you think purchasing businesses is a shortcut?
You get a head start.
You got a head start.
If we say, and this is why I say the strategy matters.
Yes,
strategy. Because there's some people who do go after distressed businesses, and that's another strategy, right? But if we said earlier that 80% of businesses fail in 5 years, less than 5% make it to 7 figures. Okay, then if I'm gonna buy a business, I'm gonna buy one that's older than 5 years old and already made it to 7 figures. And
so what do? We look from 5 to 10, right?
Nowadays we can't even say 5 to 10 anymore, because let's talk about the opportunities now. So we just talk about some potential problems, and those problems are not inherent to acquisitions themselves. It's just inherent to being a entrepreneur and having a business owner, right? But opportunities now, right? So we were looking at 5 to 10 minimum years old, but what's the oldest business that you found recently?
The oldest business that I found was the trucking company I told you that the gentleman owned for like 32 years.
Well, my oldest was 80 years. It went through 3 generations of their family, and the current generation owner is ready to retire, and he's the only child of that generation. Mm-hmm. So you don't have no siblings, and he doesn't have any kids himself. So he's like, I think I just want to cash out, get a boat, and sail to the Caribbean and whatnot. I'm like, sure, no problem. I'll help you with that.
Yes.
So opportunity is that the retirees, the baby boomers, they're all retiring, and there's 12.5 million of them with businesses, and most of them don't know what to do. They figure out I just got to shut it down. My kids don't want it, so I guess that's the end. No, that's where MamaBea and Qweenbea and Business Builder B or Business Buyer B.
Business Buyer B.
That should be Business Buyer B's, but we still building them once we get them anyway. But that's what we see.
Here's the interesting thing. Not only that, but you have to understand our new generation, like my kids and the kids are older than them. Mm. They're not interested in those 20, 30-year businesses. They're just not interested. Yeah. So, and baby boomers are not into technology. So let's talk about opportunity. When you're looking to buy businesses that old, you already have sustainable, scalable blocks because you can bring it into technology.
And you're starting from a place that they already got revenue.
How about that? You're starting from a place where you don't have to go find customers and revenue.
Yep.
Opportunity.
And then all you got to do is a couple of different things. Oh, you don't know what a funnel is? Sure, I got someone I'll bring in there. We can create a funnel, and that'll help us to remove some waste, make us more profitable. Let's get us on social media too, and maybe we're gonna run some ads. Maybe we do some influencer marketing. And now, not only did we reduce waste and become more efficient and profitable, but now we're bringing in more revenue too, because you weren't doing any of that before, even though you were profitable without doing it.
Without doing it. And that's so I have to keep going back to fear, because you're fearing things that haven't happened yet. Why are you fearing things that haven't happened? If you're an entrepreneur by spirit, right? Pivoting should be in your nature.
Yep.
So when you purchase a business, one, you're starting from middle school instead of grammar school, right?
Yes.
Or high school instead of grammar school, right? Mm-hmm. So now you have technology. 9 times out of 10 don't have it. You have revenue. You have a name, a brand that's already there. You would not believe how many successful baby boomer businesses we look at.
Yeah.
They don't have no social media presence whatsoever. Yeah. Or they haven't expanded out of their region. They're very comfortable in their 3 cities or 4 cities or whatever the case may be. Going national, going international. It's endless. It's limitless possibilities. Which is the thing that I say in trading. It's endless. It's limited possibilities.
Because also the strategies, this LBO strategy, you don't need money.
No, you don't need
credit. And you can buy cash. You can acquire, because I say buy businesses because I want to make it simple for people. But what we're doing is not buying businesses. We're acquiring them, right? Yes. So you can acquire cash flow. Hey, I want to add another $20,000 a month to my cash flow and my assets under management. Yeah, this business will be able to pay for it because I got to look at the numbers beforehand and do my due diligence. And then now, because I know how to get it for $0 out of my pocket, why wouldn't I bring it in to my my portfolio? And now I'm paying myself X amount extra per month, right? Exactly. So that's the power of the LBO. Yes. We've been talking about pros already, so I don't even feel like we need to get into pros. But I think we could focus on that part a little bit in terms of being able to grow a portfolio of cash flowing assets with no money coming out your pocket, even if you don't have credit.
Can I shift a little bit to mindset with pros?
Yes.
Only because people are not going to land pros if they don't understand they have to shift their mindset. Your mindset has to be on the realm that it's possible, it's probable, it's likely. Your mindset cannot maintain those old adages of what you can't do because of invisible barriers, right? What we're doing has been taking place for decades. It's not new. It's not new. It's only new to our community and really to my gender as a businesswoman. You know, it's new to us. But one of the things that I talk about a lot in my other community is because you don't know, you fear it, right? You fear it because you don't understand it. You want wealth, but you don't understand you got to do what the wealthy has already done to get wealthy, right?
And still doing.
And still doing. So, first of all, work on shifting your mindset to, I actually can do this. Because you're no different. You're no different than the people that's been doing it for 20, 30 years. You're no different. You have the capacity, but you have to be willing to put in the time, the energy, the effort to learn. One. Then you got to take off those barriers of what if. Fear. Fear will stop you from jumping. There is nothing that can happen differently in acquiring a business than if you build a business. There's nothing. But what I will tell you is when you look at your portfolio and you just bought a $2 million business that has an EBITDA of $2 million, $3 million, free.
Free. Yo, it's insane. And you know, since we talk on mindset, let's start a good place that, you know, because people a lot of times ask me where to get started. Obviously, you can join the BBI and you get everything that you need.
Obviously.
Right. But I do say the first place that you should start is changing what you're absorbing. Right.
Who you're absorbing it from.
Who you're absorbing it from. Because if you're not paying attention to Bloomberg News, you're not paying attention to Entrepreneurship Exposed. You're not, you know what I'm saying? You're more concerned with Shade Room and World Star. Then you're not going to see these type of things happening. You're not going to realize that it's possible because you're not hearing about it, right? You're going to know that it's possible to get in a fight on the street on World Star and stuff. But is that helping you in any way? You know?
I always tell people loving hip hop stars is making their money off of you sitting there watching them and you still sitting in the same position that you were sitting 2 years ago when they started it.
It's the truth. It's reality. And, you know, it's the harsh truth that we have to face, right? Yes. But where I want you to start, at least, MamaBea put me onto a book that I had not read before. And now it's required reading in the community. And that
you're talking about my favorite book.
Go ahead. You got it with you?
I can't help myself.
You're about to hold it up. There you go. Barbarians at the Gate. Listen, that was a great one. And you know what? When you put me onto it, Qweenbea, I went and looked, and then I found it was a made-for-TV movie. And I had watched that in the 90s. I remember when that came out. So that's why I knew the story, but I had never read the book, not realizing that TV show was based on the book and all of that. So yeah, that's required reading. Barbarians at the Gate is the story of RJR Nabisco leveraged buyout. So you see, this is not a play. This has been going on for the longest. That was the largest LBO at the time in history until, if it goes through, Elon Musk did it right now with Twitter.
Doing it right now.
Doing it right now with Twitter. Now, some people saying he's pulling out because he learned that 90% of Twitter user accounts are fake, right? So that reduces the value. But Qweenbea, what do we do when we find something like that in a deal?
I'm excited to find things like that in a deal. Again, take the fear out of it. Don't blow up the house because something 1 + 1 didn't equal 2. That is a negotiating tool for me.
Leverage.
That's why it's called leverage buyouts. That's a negotiating tool for me. I'm glad to uncover something. Anything.
Yeah. Oh, 90% of your users fake. Well, we're going to have to reduce this price by 40% minimum or something.
2, 10, 15, 25% off.
There we go.
And you know my rules. So this is funny. Beez is a mentor, but I'm a mentor to Beez, but we're also friends. We get on the phone and we talk too long, too much. But One of my golden rules, if it's not 80% seller financing, I'm not interested. Beez said 80%. Don't you think that's kind of high?
No, you said 100. You said 100.
No, I said 80% is where I start.
Oh, where you start? Okay.
You start at 50.
I started at 50. Yeah. Like I let them know that's where it gotta be minimum. And
at
I'm
minimum.
right. But she's like, Qweenbea is like, nah, 80 minimum. Qweenbea don't play. I learned how to be more of a shark from her. She ain't playing with nobody. She don't got no time for that. Right. No. So that's what's up. And that's the same thing that everybody needs to do. You need to be confident in when you're having these conversations. That means you need to learn the information so that you can speak intelligently on the subject. And you'll be shocked how many people, when you start speaking to brokers and speaking to sellers, and you're repeating some of the jargon and concepts that we discuss in the BBI, those people are going to be like, wow, you really know your stuff. Oh, you must be a seasoned investor and blah, blah, blah. Right? Just because you have certain words and certain concepts down pat. That's why it's important to know those things.
Any industry that you go into, you have to take the time to learn the language. And one of the reasons why I wanted to introduce Barbarian at the Gate to our community is so that they can understand, one, that this is not new. We didn't just make this up. You know what I'm saying? It's been going on for a long time. And look at the levels that you can reach for in leverage buyouts. If they're doing it, Nabisco, do you know Nabisco was a brand for everything, cigarettes, foods, candies, but everything. And man, they wasn't talking to him about his personal credit score. They wasn't talking to him about his net worth. He was leveraging everything within the business to buy the business. And that's why you have to understand, you need to learn this information.
Definitely. So that's the first book that I recommend everybody read. The second book is White Guys Can't Have All the Fun.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's required reading. That is required reading in the BBI. Why should white guys have all? That's what it is. Why should white guys have all the fun? That one is the story of another black man who was doing LBOs, became a billionaire, and most of y'all don't even know who he is. You know, when you think about that, a black billionaire that we don't even know because he's not an athlete, he's not a rapper. In fashion, nothing like that. But this guy uncovered these secrets. This is what catapulted me into this industry, right? That and the third book, which we'll get into in a second. But this book opened everything for me, right? And if you read it, it's going to change your entire life. And I guarantee you're going to be ready to join the BBI at that time because you want to make it as easy as possible. Oh, he's from DC. Drew said he's from DC.
He's from DC. But can I add to that? Like, we can give you quite a few books because, you know, I'm an avid reader. It's so funny. My husband calls me the gangster geek because I read about 5 or 6 books at one time. And I'm always introducing books. I really want people to understand that reading is paramount. And I'm going to say this, and I normally don't deal in old adages or racist adages, but I want you guys to remember one thing. There was a saying a long time ago that if you ever want to keep something from Black people, put it in the book.
I remember that one.
You remember that? And I never understood why. My dad was not formally educated. He went to the 5th grade. That was it. He was a street guy, a hustler, grinder type of guy. But he was so profound and so educated by reading. So it was mandatory between him and I. We always read newspapers, books, philosophy, business, Wall Street, always. And you couldn't tell me this man didn't graduate from Yale or Princeton or something. And that was his reason. And he said, they always said, if you wanted to keep something away from Black people, put it in the book. I highly encourage not only my communities that I mentor in, you have to read. Babies, you got to read. Turn that TV off. Read one book a month.
Yeah.
One book a month. Start there, read one book a month. If you really want to change your dynamics, your legacy, your mindset, one book a month.
Definitely. And if you can't get the physical book and read it, you got Audible. Right?
You got Audible.
Listen to it too. You could do, and listen to podcasts. Listen to don't listen. Turn off Fox News. Turn off CNN. Watch Bloomberg. Get some financial news.
I tell them every day, watch Bloomberg.
Man. Forget the other crap. They all both sides is trying to do.
Crazy.
They trying to tearing you against each other and all type of stuff. Focus on the finances. Focus on what you got to do. You know what? I need to add another required reading. Well, first of all, I'm going to say the third book really quick. And the third book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I know most people already read that. But in particular, when we get to the cash flow quadrant and moving from employee to self-employed, nah, you can't stay there. Business owner, that's cool. Investor, that's where we want to get to. And you may have thought you couldn't get to an investor because you got to be super rich first. No. Right. Because you can acquire a business with no money out of your pocket. That's investing. And that's where it starts.
Wait. And pay. Oh, I'm sorry. No. The business pays for somebody else to go and run it. You're not running it.
Yeah.
Understand that. The business good point. That we buy, we're not in there every day as managers, directors, we're investors. I love how he said, we're on top of our businesses looking above it. So we hire people to run the business.
Yep. That's the key.
And anybody can do it.
Yep. And there you go. Strategies again, because you can acquire a business. Hey, I want to acquire it and roll it up into my current one, and I'm going to continue working it. Sure. That's if you choose to do that, that's your prerogative. I want to acquire businesses that I don't have to work in. It needs enough cash flow so I can hire the right operator in it, or it has key employee that I can uplift, promote to some sort of management role so they can continue running it. And we talk about mindset. Another mindset shift is 25% of a watermelon is better than 100% of a grape.
Because you do not have to purchase the entire business. You guys just have to understand there's so many different strategies and ways to do it. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Yep. Now, yours is, your third book is Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right?
Yes.
My third book is 15 Laws of Success.
Another great one. There we go. I love it. So, and I was about to say, though, that I may have to add another one to the required list, and that's going to be, oh my goodness. Oh, it's slipping my mind right now. It's coming back. Okay, I'll come back to that one because I got to remember the name of it.
Okay. I'm going to give you a fourth one.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio.
Oh, you know what? I have not read that one.
Yeah. So I read it. I brought it to the community, my other community. I was going to bring it to the Builder Beez community. But Kirsten read it because Kirsten is like my book buddy. He always texts me. And he was like, oh my God, that book just blows your mind. I don't even know how to describe this book. When I tell you, it takes you into understanding what I feel we don't educate our kids, our community enough on how money flows in this world.
Yeah.
And understanding that everything that's happening now, it's a cycle. It recycled 10, 15, 20. It's not new.
Yeah.
It's the way money flows. Changing World Order, Ray Dalio, I highly encourage everybody to read. But Beez, you got to read it first.
I will.
You got to read it first.
And now I remember the one that I was going to say, right? It's not just the book itself, it's the concept, and it is Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson, right? Yeah. And that's not about the LBO stuff, but it's about how we truly can uplift our community. Is talking about what the Black community really needs to do in order to get it to the next level. And finances is key and critical. Obtaining the right amount of assets and diversifying and all of that is key and critical. That information is critical. But then even when it comes to politics, it's not about voting as much as it is about lobbying, right? Because that's what the wealthy are doing, is they buying their politicians, then they are owed favors and they call on those favors, right? And so someone said this recently.
To make life easier for you. You know, people do not like to talk to me about politics because, in my opinion, most people vote with who they like, who they look like, but they don't think about their quality of life. Politics is about the life that you are leading and the life that you want to lead. And so our politicians are the position to enact laws or deactivate laws to make life better for us. That's the difference that the wealthy understand. They need politicians to go in and do their bidding, so they support them. But if we're not putting money into our own level of understanding and education, putting money into politicians is so far off. And I tell people all the time, you're talking about saving a community, a city, a state, a race. Can you start by saving your family in your house? If you build these concepts in your house, in your tribe, whatever that tribe looks like, it grows and fosters from there.
Yeah. And that's why the BBI exists, right?
Exactly.
And that's why, people like you who are, helping to develop the BBI are so critical, because neither one of us needs to do it. No. We don't need to be on social media.
No.
We don't need to.
I don't even like being on social media.
Say that again?
I said, I don't even like being on social media.
Same here. But why do people go on social media? Mainly because, they're trying to sell. Some people just doing it for fun, I guess. But how could you do that for fun and put in the amount of effort it requires to create multiple reels every day and to research this and hashtags and that and blah, blah, blah? You're doing it for work in order to either get followings because you feel that being an influencer is good, or you're doing it to promote some business that you have or whatever. I don't need to do any of that, because the only people I need to focus on is sellers of businesses that I can acquire. And I'm not going to find that on Instagram.
It's so funny because I've been a business owner for so long, and I've never done that type of marketing, social media marketing. Was it last week? Maybe the week or so ago. I did my first I hired a branding team. I did a commercial, did a photo shot, all that. Because honestly, I'm be real honest with you, people with money don't want folks to know they have money. So they don't be on social media flashing and all. I don't want you to know, because I don't want you to ask me to borrow no money.
For real.
I don't want the IRS trying to guess what I make. You know what I'm saying? I don't want
For real.
But being exposed to this and understanding how much we really need to open up our community minds to leverage buyouts, just buying businesses as a whole, is why I did it. Now, Beez twisted my arm because I didn't want to, he know I don't like coaching. But it's true. When you start digging into the numbers and statistics and realize how much of us are not involved on this side, it gives you a vision and a mission that you want to support and put it out there.
Yep, definitely. So Qweenbea, what is next for you? Right? Because now you're acquiring businesses, LBO style, you building up your assets under management. What's next for you? What are the goals that you're setting for yourself now?
Like I just said, these principles starting inside your home, inside your tribe. I could stop everything today. Honestly, that's how hard my husband and I work to build our life and to take care of our legacy. I could stop right now and not do anything else. But I'm having so much fun. Number one, I really, really enjoyed this to the next level. I've shifted my direction. So my goal is to empower as many people as I can into understanding how to leverage the markets, because trading is my love, and buying businesses. There is no reason in the world why everybody is not doing those two things because it's really just taking the opportunity to learn it. Yeah. You know, I said on our call, what was that, Tuesday? A lot of us invest 5, 10, 15, 20 years working to build somebody else's legacy. And you go 110% strong, right? You show up when they tell you to show up. You take your breaks when they tell you to take your breaks.
You take one trip a whole year.
One trip a whole year. Then you get your gold watch and you're, hey. But then when it's time for you to do for self, you slack. So my goal next for me is how many people can I shift? How many people can I get in this realm? I love the fact that I have so many people that are actively trading and I see they're changing their lives. We've really started going hard with the acquiring businesses. So now I want to see a whole group of young people doing this. A whole group of young people. Can you imagine what it would be like if my 19-year-old and 20-year-old started buying businesses tomorrow? If you're a 17-year-old, you know, that's changing. And then we can put in effect the theories that the Powernomics and Rich Dad, Poor Dad put into place. That's what's next for me.
Definitely. And you know, I mentioned this yesterday on a different recording of another episode, how my son Damani, you know, going off to college, and he found a Japanese restaurant in the city that his college is in, that it was for sale. So he was like, "Oh, Dad, I should get this myself," because he's learning the
he's learning the business. Yeah.
And I was like, "You should for sure." And he was like, "Oh, girls love sushi, so this would be clutch during college."
Look, whatever motivates you. Like my youngest, he's in aerospace, so we were looking at an aerospace company, and he was like, "You mean you can buy that now? And I haven't even graduated school?" I was like, "Yeah, I can buy it now." That's a different conversation.
Different conversation. Can you imagine that?
That's
can you imagine all our families, all in the Black community, brown community, everyone is having conversations about, "Oh yeah, I'm graduating high school. What do you want to do?" "Well, you know, I saw this company I really wanted to buy, and I could use an LBO and get it for no money out of my pocket, and I get cash flow." That's insane.
That's insane. We're not talking about the latest hits, rappers, the latest gym shoes, the newest. They're sitting across the table saying, "Oh, I could buy a business." Because now every time I look up, Mikhail is looking at aerospace businesses.
There we go. Well, okay, so I feel like we could keep going, but we gotta, you know, keep it with a constraint of time. So I have to say this last thing because I asked every member. I already know your answer, but
okay.
I have a challenge going on, and that challenge is the $1 trillion table. Where at the end of this decade, I want to sit in a room at a table with people that look like me, and we have $1 trillion AUM, assets under management. Will you be at that table?
I will probably be sitting across from you.
I'm pretty sure you will.
Beez and I, we feed off each other well. So yeah.
For sure. And I look forward to us being at that table with our kids right next to us at that table.
That would be the life changer for me. You know, I love to talk to young people, and there's a lot of young people in my other community where they say, "I read now because of you, MamaBea," or "I do this now because of you, MamaBea." That means a lot to me. But for me, and I tell my team this because they're much younger, I tell them what I'm teaching you in this acquiring business industry, I have the opportunity to see you become a billionaire in my lifetime.
Yep.
That's life-changing. You becoming a billionaire. And it won't take you 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
And they're starting earlier than we did.
And they're starting earlier than what we did. But can I say this to people that are our age and older? It's never too late. Never too late. It's never too late. I reinvent myself every year. It's never too late.
Definitely. Well, MamaBea, Qweenbea, Beatrix Davis, the one, the only. Listen, thank you so much for coming on here and having this conversation. It was awesome, as always, as all of our conversations are. And I look forward to doing so many more amazing things with you. What we're doing with the BBI is life-changing.
Absolutely.
And we're going to, more and more people coming in and learning these concepts and executing. And, we're going to uplift our families, our community, ourselves for sure, and just keep this going. So I appreciate all that you do, and I look forward to doing much more with you.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the BBI becoming the source and the choice for entrepreneurship.
For sure. We don't, hey, I'm gonna be honest. My son's going to college, so I love my college days. I had fun. Networking was the key thing that I got out of it.
Right.
You want the real information, the real secrets of this world that are for some reason hidden from plain view, although they're not secret.
But they're not secret, but they're hidden in plain sight. Oh, that's a good one.
Yep. So if you want that, that's what we give in the BBI. Qweenbea, tell everybody how they can find you if they want to tap in with you at any point after this as well.
Oh, please send me a DM on Instagram at the Qweenbea, and it's Queen Qween, because I'm a little bit different.
All right. Well, thank you again, Qweenbea. This has been another episode of Entrepreneurship Exposed, where we expose leverage buyouts, acquisitions, wealth creation, and so much more. Stay tuned for the next episode. Tap in. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, you comment, you share this with everyone you know, and start buying businesses. Let's go.
Thank you, love.
Thank you.